Good evening, RCCA families, and welcome to the 2024-2025 State of the School Address. I'd like to welcome you. Thanks for tuning in. The first thing I want to do is just to give you some updates of our 5-year strategic plan, things that we have accomplished over this last year, and then talk a little bit about our 10-year plans and things that you can pray about. First, our first thing that we accomplished in our 5-year strategic plan is that we did restart our mission trips. Those kind of took a hiatus during COVID, and so we took some of the high school students to Big Creek Missions in Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky. We had a wonderful time spreading the gospel and helping there. We started our Parenting with a Purpose, and we have really enjoyed these sessions. We have learned so much. We hope that you have been able to watch the videos and looked at the materials that we provided, and that's been a help to you as well. Our K through 5 teachers have completed their second round of the Orton Gillingham training to try to help those students with their reading skills, and we have basically totally transformed how we teach reading. We started our TEP, which is the Teacher Enrichment Program. If you don't know, any teacher that's up for licensure has something called the RESA, and so we started the TEP program for those who have come in on alternative license, so that we can help support those teachers to be successful in their classrooms. We did start with Mr. Wright as our school chaplain. That's been a great addition to RCCA. If you don't know what he does, take a look at the newsletters and contact him if you are in need of his services. We have started student-led worship at our middle school and high school, and I'll let Mrs. Ramey and Dr. Cooper talk more about that. We had our first wellness fair right before school last year. We've offered health benefits for our staff for the first time this year. We've expanded our time in community service and servant leadership, and I'm sure you've been watching all of those things on our social media. We started a partnership with the Pioneer Center, and I'll let Dr. Cooper talk more about that, and our autism classroom that we'll talk more about. We do have new staff in place with our new IT specialist, our first grade, and now we have a guidance counselor at our high school. So a lot of those things have been accomplished in this last year that were part of our 5-year strategic plan. In our 10-year strategic goals, we are definitely praying for, and we ask for you to pray for this specifically, for an early childhood development center. We need that. It is a need, it's not a want, so we'd ask you to pray for that. We ask you to pray for multiple gyms, so we can build gyms and we'll be able to have a gym at each campus. That would be wonderful, a definite need and not a want. We do need science labs, technology labs. We would love to have a sports complex, a media center, and a performing arts center. Lofty goals, but we know that if the Lord is going to do it, He's going to do it, and there's nothing that we can do to stop that, and we're going to ask you to pray for that. I'll talk very briefly about the State of the School survey that we sent out. We didn't have very many responses to that, so it's really statistically insignificant because we can't rely on those things. So at the end of the year, what I'd like to do is to send out another survey, and if you would, please respond to those so we can get some good feedback.
Hello, I'm Jenny Beverly, and I'm the preschool director. This year we have operated with the most students to date. We currently run 8 classrooms total. These include our infant and toddler room, 2 3-year-old classes, 1 older 3s and younger 4s class, 3 4-year-old, which are pre-K classes, and 1 young 5s class. We have been working really hard to ensure that each student is well prepared academically, socially, emotionally, and spiritually, so we can hit all the necessary milestones needed for them to successfully move on to the next level. Our staff are monitoring and assessing the needs of each student to make sure that they are on target for the transition in the spring. One thing we are very proud of is the success rate with students moving from our preschool into our kindergarten. Students are found capable, well-prepared, and ready to take on the challenge of kindergarten. Most of our current kindergarten students have come from our preschool. We have always had high percentages of retainment of preschoolers moving forward into kindergarten here at RCCA. With that said, it is time to enroll again. We will be having our annual preschool and kindergarten informational meeting on Tuesday, February 18th at 6:30. This will be in the main sanctuary and the doors will open at 6. This will be a parent informational meeting about the preschool and kindergarten programs as well as scholarships for kindergarten. If you attend, you will be able to enroll before we open the enrollment up to the public on March 1st. This night you will not only be able to enroll your student, but you will also be able to ask questions and meet our wonderful staff. Please be aware that this is a parent meeting only, as childcare will not be provided. Before school begins in the fall, we will have a big orientation where students can attend and there will be lots of fun. We will also continue to have the $100 enrollment fee that will include all of your school supplies for the upcoming school year. So please plan to come and invite someone that you know who may be interested in learning more about what we do here in preschool and kindergarten at RCCA. We cannot wait to see you. God bless and thank you for tuning in.
Hi, I'm Renee Weisskopf. I'm the principal of the elementary here at Ross County Christian Academy. This year at RCCA Elementary, we have taken the results of our parent surveys and parent advisory sessions from last year and made a few changes to our program. We have added an autism classroom for students in kindergarten through 5th grade. This classroom is specifically designed to meet the needs of our students with autism, and we have a highly trained staff that have had an amazing year with our students. We've added music instruction as a special. Students have learned about rhythm and reading notes. They've been exposed to different kinds of music as well. We've also implemented music throughout our hallways to create a positive learning environment for our students. And due to the many gaps we've seen over the last few years, we've been able to provide interventions for students in both reading and math. There are many standards added at the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade levels, and we were seeing those gaps continue to grow each year. The addition of math intervention has helped some of our students gain a better understanding of those concepts. We've also implemented mentoring days for our students. This year we've had SO days, which stands for Serving Others Well. Groups of mixed-age students spend the afternoon learning together, building relationships, and learning about God's Word. We have also used our time in opening to learn about the character of God through our Sprout theme. We have learned that God is our shepherd, provider, redeemer, one. He is unchanging, and he is the truth. In order to know who we are, we must teach our students who their creator is, what his character is, and how we have been created in his image, and what we should live like to reflect that. As we plan for the future of RCCA Elementary, I would like to remind you of the mission of our school that has been set forth from the beginning of the school. The mission of Ross County Christian Academy is to provide an excellent educational program for each child in a creative, challenging, and Christ-centered environment. Education plays an important role in a person's life. I personally grew up in poverty in a non-Christian home. Public school was the only option for my family. However, my parents did understand the importance of education and hard work. Education can change the trajectory of a person's life. Education empowers people to think, reason, and be able to protect themselves. It closes the gap of inequality of social classes. It gives people more power and control over their lives and the circumstances they are in. Thankfully, Ohio is very supportive and appreciates the value of education and supports a family's right to choose where their child can receive a quality education. RCCA strives to provide families with that quality academic education. But the most important part of our education at RCCA is that it is a Christ-centered environment. We are first and foremost a Christian school. We are intentional in our efforts to live out a life that is honoring of God and the mission he has called us to. Our staff profess testimonies of personal relationships with Christ. We are non-denominational and therefore have many different believers coming together with one mission: to educate children with a Christian worldview in mind. We know that we are all born sinners. Regardless of our financial status, our upbringing, our church affiliations, every person at RCCA needs Jesus and the redemption he offers. As part of our mission, we seek to teach our students that we are sinners. We all need salvation, and that only comes through Jesus. We teach our students that their life is meant to be more than self-seeking. We are created to serve and love others. With this mission in mind, next year we plan to expand our autism classroom, providing more opportunities for students with special needs to attend a Christ-centered environment and learn about the love Jesus has for them. We will be offering different specials classes to use the gifts God has given them in ways that are pleasing and honoring to God. We will be implementing a new math curriculum to develop students strong in math skills, logical thinking, and number sense in order to glorify God. We will also continue to work to close the academic gaps and push our students towards success. We will be working at each grade level to target developmental milestones to help our students grow personally as well. We will be offering a summer enrichment program for our current students in grades kindergarten through 5th grade to help prepare them for next year. We are still seeing gaps across the board in reading and math. These summer sessions will be taught by RCCA staff and focus on reading and math. We will have 2 weeks in June and 2 weeks in July available. More information and enrollment forms for this program will be coming home in the coming weeks. As we plan for next year, I encourage you to pray about your role at RCCA. Each adult responsible for our students plays a role in their education. They are learning from you the importance of education and hard work, just like I learned from my parents. You are the most important educators in their lives. RCCA Elementary will continue to offer a challenging, creative, and Christ-centered environment and continually seek to follow God's lead in our school. Thank you.
Good evening, RCCA community. I'm Lindsay Ramey, the middle school principal at Ross County Christian Academy. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for your support. The past year and a half has been an exciting time in the middle school at RCCA. We have enjoyed our new campus location and appreciate the partnership with Calvary Baptist Church. We have already taken part in some amazing experiences this school year, and we're looking forward to all that God has in store for us. This year, our Middle School Eagle Student Council has grown both in number and also in opportunities. Thanks to our generous parent-teacher fellowship, our student council has been able to provide a school store, the Eagle Store, once a month for students to cash in points that they have earned through Live School, our positive behavior incentive program. The student council has also put on fun events for our students and staff, including a bonfire at Buzzard's Roost, Minute to Win It games, and a Christmas breakfast. They've organized local and global service projects for our students and are truly learning how to lead like Jesus through servant leadership. We added a couple of new electives, which I'll talk about more about shortly, but one of those is our worship team. We have several students who have expressed the desire to use their musical gifts for the Lord. And so now we have 2 staff members who are helping to oversee our student worship team, who leads our chapel worship each week. We have also been excited to bring one of RCCA's own, Senior Gabe Bevan, into our rotation of regular chapel speakers. It's been great to see the younger students looking up to an older student, and they are really listening. I'm thankful we've been able to give one of our own high school students this opportunity to teach God's word at RCCA on a regular basis. Each year, we have a theme for the year to help guide our focus as well as enhance the environment for learning. This year, our theme is growth. We are learning about God and how He is Redeemer, One, Way, Truth, and Holy. It's been great to see our students grow in their relationship with God, understanding who He is and who He created them to be. Our middle schoolers have been able to choose electives to take part in. This year, they could choose instrumental band, worship team, drama, or choir. Our band put on a beautiful Christmas concert, and we're looking forward to their spring concert. The drama department put on a fabulous production of Lion King Jr. under the direction of Gabe Peacher. If you missed that, you missed out. We can't wait to see what our choir and art classes put together for our spring fine arts night. And the third 9 weeks brings a new elective for students to choose to take part in, technology. Students will be learning keyboarding, document editing, and other special projects. At RCCA, we always want to strive for excellence. With that, we are working to fill in gaps we are seeing in both language arts and math. We have developed a math curriculum team and will be evaluating and choosing math curriculum that will effectively vertically align kindergarten through high school. As RCCA grew and we expanded the high school, we added National Honor Society, but at that time, we let our National Junior Honor Society membership lapse. We are excited to once again be a member of NJHS with a new group of inducted members coming this spring, recognizing our students for their excellence in scholarship, service, leadership, character, and citizenship. Lastly, I'd like to share with you that our first ever trip to Washington, D.C. is planned for April. We're thankful for this opportunity to take a group of our students to our nation's capital to see firsthand all of our monuments, memorials, documents, and government buildings, learning about the founding and function of our government from a Christian perspective. Thank you again for your support, and we are excited for all that God is doing in the hearts and lives of our students, families, staff, and supporters.
Good evening, I'm Dr. Joshua Cooper, and I am the Dean of Students at Ross County Christian Academy. This is my first year in this position, and my responsibilities are the special education program and the high school. So firstly, I'd like to talk about our special education program. This is our first year as an autism scholarship provider in the state of Ohio. And through that, we are able to serve 6 students currently within our autism classroom housed at the Brookside campus. That K-5 classroom contains 3 students that spend half of their day in the classroom and 3 students that are fully integrated into the curriculum. And we've seen great growth in these students, and we have seen so much growth in our students outside of that classroom, and just how wonderful they have been and how accepting they have been of these students. And that was one of our missions when we started this class. Mike McCarter once said that every student deserves a Christian education, regardless of whether or not they have a disability. So, going forward, our plan is to expand the current K-5 classroom, and we also hope to add a junior high classroom in the 26-27 school year. Currently, we serve over 30 students through the John Peterson Special Needs Scholarship and the Autism Scholarship combined, and we are hoping to see that number grow. Let's jump into the high school. This has been a big change for me. I was a high school English teacher and a high school intervention specialist, and this year I was tapped to lead the high school. And one of my major goals was to increase engagement in students and staff. Thankfully, the former principal, Mr. Lloyd, left me with a wonderful system of amazing staff members, and that has allowed me to focus on environment. And so we have started morning devotionals every day. The entire student body meets in the sanctuary, and we start each day off with a staff-led devotion and prayer. We have also been able to add some new electives this year, and those include psychology, current events, content creation, creative writing, and computer operations. I would like to give special recognition to Miss Wright Parker and our choir and band students. They recently participated in the district solo OMEA competition, and we had 5 students receive superior ratings and 2 students receive excellent ratings. Another thing that we have done is we have put a Chromebook in the hand of every student. Each student at the beginning of the year was assigned their own personal Chromebook, and with that comes accountability of not only taking care of your own piece of equipment, but also knowing that you have to have that for every class. And with that, we have asked students to turn off their cell phones and place them in their lockers. And we have seen such an increase in engagement. Students are talking to each other, they're looking at each other, they're looking at their instructors and their teachers. And we have just noticed that as a community, we have grown closer together just because we're talking to each other. So that has been a blessing from the Lord. I would also like to acknowledge our student council who has partnered with the Pioneer Center. They have some upcoming events this year. They're going to be painting windows downtown for the March for DD Awareness. They will be marching with their buddies at the March for DD Awareness. They will also be participating in the Easter egg hunt. At Christmas, they went and wrapped presents for all of the students at the Pioneer Center, and they are really looking forward to going and volunteering for Special Olympics in the summer and field day at the end of the school year. Another change we've made at the high school is the development of our incentive program, and that program focuses on 5 tenets: attendance, scholarship, behavior, discipleship, and citizenship. And so through those 5 tenets, you are able to earn access to our quarterly incentive event. And during the first quarter, we had 44 of 47 students qualify for the incentive program, and that is incredible. We have so many students who have bought in, that are diving into discipleship and leadership and just showing their witness for God. Finally, the last thing that I would like to mention as update for this school year, we have partnered with Vidito Industries. One need that we recognized by having students put their phones in their lockers was that during chapel, many of them used their Bible app. So when a speaker would ask them to open the word, they didn't have it on them. So Vidito Industries has graciously donated a Bible for every student. So every student will have a Ross County Christian Academy Bible with them every day for chapel or for Bible class. And I just want to thank Nathan Vidito and Vidito Industries so much for making that happen. Finally, talking about future plans at the high school, we are looking forward to adding additional electives next year. One being life skills taught by Mrs. Thomas. And we are also looking to add a makerspace or a tech lab next year. And finally, student speakers in chapel. This year, Mr. Gabe Bevan was the first high school student to actually speak at a high school chapel. And it was so well received and so well done that I've had several students come and ask if they could have the opportunity. And we want to encourage our students to not only be a witness, but to be disciples and to go out and make more disciples. So we are looking forward to adding student speakers next year. So please remember us in your prayers. Continue to ask that God guides us and gives us the wisdom to do what's best for these students and to help them thrive. Thank you.
All right, well, good evening. My name is Jamie King, and I'm the CFO here at Ross County Christian Academy. And I've been blessed this year to take on this role as Mike McCarter has recently retired. And so one of the great things about sitting here listening to the rest of the staff talk is how I see my role is being able to support the great things that are happening throughout this school district. And so if I were to describe the financial status of RCCA as I came in, it would be strength, fiscal responsibility, healthy operating budgets, and future investments and future thinking and forward thinking. And that is definitely a result of current leadership here at this school, and also former founding leadership as well. And so when you think about RCCA, again, I think of strength, I think of fiscal responsibility, healthy operating budgets, and again, forward thinking and investments in mind. One of the things I wanted to do this evening is also go through this idea of what does tuition look like for next year, tuition and fee structures, hopefully provide some information for you, and then hopefully answer some questions along the way. And so bear with me as we go through some of those nitty-gritty details. One of the things as you look at, when the school board looks at making decisions on tuition and fee structures for the upcoming year, is you want to think about really 4 areas of why you need to continue to look at tuition increases, fee structures, to continue to support the strength that RCCA has demonstrated for the last 17, 18 years. One of the things that it really supports when you look at tuition increases or looking at those fee structures is it allows us to really recruit and retain effective, strong teaching staff who are committed not just to the field of education, but also to the mission of the gospel of RCCA. And so when you look at these things, we really want to be about building strong staff, retaining strong staff, and recruiting those new staff to come in. It also allows us to look at and account for rising operating costs such as facility usage, maintenance, utilities, insurance, and the list goes on and on. As we know, in our society, those costs are always on the rise, and so to be fiscally responsible, we have to also look at how do we account for those things. As you heard from the other leadership here, they're always looking to advance and strengthen curriculum offerings, resources, educational offerings, and technology, and all those things do cost money. And so as we continue to look at making advances for our students in those areas, we also have to plan for how to account for those expenses as well. And more importantly than all those things, strong financial stability also allows us to focus on future planning and solidifying the mission of RCCA, which is to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we want to be a school that not only impacts our local community, but also around the world. And so those are things that we consider as a leadership team and as a school board when we look at costs and tuition for the future. So on those lines, at our last school board meeting, our school board took into account all those factors in determining the tuition and fee structure for the 25-26 school year, and resulting in a 7% increase for our tuition, which again for K-8 will be $65.98, and for 9-12 will be $89.97. And one of the things that we want to make sure we commit to as a school board and leadership team is to walking beside our families, whether you are on a full Ed Choice scholarship, a John Peterson scholarship, an autism scholarship, or maybe you are a family who pays out of pocket in full. So as a school, we want to make sure and be mindful of those scenarios and provide opportunities for you as well. Some of those things the board has considered. We would encourage all families, as always, whether you are on an Ed Choice scholarship or not, to always look to apply. That process will be coming out with enrollment packets as well. So whether you are renewing or considering this for the first time, we encourage all of our families to consider that Ed Choice scholarship. That can either cover all of tuition or at least partial. Now, RCCA has also been a school that's been blessed with a strong scholarship granting organization, also known as an SGO. We've had a tremendous group of generous donors who've allowed us to build an SGO scholarship account where families can apply for this scholarship to help cover fees and tuition as well. So that's another way that our families have access to assistance if needed. And the final thing I want to focus on is the fee structure. I know that anytime you look at increasing tuition, you also want to consider what you do with your fees related to supplies, enrollment, and those sorts of things. And so here's a couple things that the board decided on. The first one is that we are eliminating the $250 tech and book fee that was implemented this year. The board decided to take that fee away. We are also looking at in combining our school supply list fees into the enrollment fee. And so I know Ms. Beverly mentioned that a minute ago, but pre-K through 12, our enrollment fee, which I'll talk about in just a minute, will cover school supply fees along the way. So that's also going to be a reduction in cost for families. So moving forward in the next school year, for pre-K through 12th grade families, the RCCA enrollment fee will be $100 per child, and with a family max of 300. So if I have one student that I'm going to enroll for next year in pre-K through 12, my enrollment fee will be $100, and that includes everything from school supplies and your enrollment fee. If I have 2 children, obviously it'll be $200. If I have 3, it'll be $300. Now, if you're a family who's been blessed with more than 3 kids to attend here at RCCA, your family will max out at $300, so you wouldn't pay more than $300 for your enrollment fees. And again, that covers school supplies, technology, curriculum, hoping to reduce the out-of-pocket expenses for our parents. A couple of FACS-related fees. I know that FACS was new this year for our school, and I do want to say thank you. I know our families, it's been a hard transition for families and staff alike, and so I just want to say thank you for your persistence and commitment to hanging with us, getting things taken care of, and getting those tuition plans and incidental charges taken care of for us. So when you go to enroll this year in FACS, a couple things you'll notice. When you enroll your child, there will be an $11 fee that FACS charges you when you submit your enrollment packet. And that will be the only fee you'll see at that time. Once your enrollment is completed, then you'll go in and you'll see your enrollment fees per child. That'll be done through your incidental billing. And then the normal annual FACS fee will start in August that we did this year, as far as the monthly plan of $55 or the incidental only for $25. And so there are some fax assessed fees that we really don't have control over, and then there are school fees. And if, as always, I know sometimes it can get confusing. Feel free to reach out to me if you do have questions. Other fees that you might experience throughout the year might be other incidental charges, field trips, lunches, those kinds of things as we go, and those will work the same way as they did this year. As I said at the beginning, I do want to just again reiterate the fact that due to fiscal responsibility and future forward thinking of this school for years, we are in a strong financial state, and I just appreciate the fact that our families are willing to continue to make those financial sacrifices to support the mission of Ross County Christian Academy. The last thing I want to focus on, and I'll kind of introduce this to our families, and then I know Dr. Jones will finish this up as well, is at the end of enrollment season this year in FACS, next year the school will be switching to something called continuous enrollment. And really what that means, it's really about this message you're hearing throughout all of the people speaking today of let's be all in. Let's go all in for the mission of Ross County Christian Academy. And every year when enrollment season comes around, sometimes it can feel like the school is always asking, are you coming back? Are you coming back? And it almost feels like we're not really sure who's in and who's not. One of the things that continuous enrollment really accomplishes is instead of saying, are you coming back? It's, hey, I'll see you next year. And more information will come out about this next school year. But what it'll do is it'll automatically enroll students from year to year, year over year, unless one of two things happen. Either you decide that it's time for you to step away, or you desire to step away from Ross County Christian, or for some reason there is, again, a missionally misaligned conversation that has to happen with families where we ask a family to step away. Or again, I guess if your child graduates from Ross County Christian. And so really what continuous enrollment does is it allows for the school to know and be more confident in who's bought into the mission, and it really also does help when it comes to financial planning and staffing and all the things that go into planning for the next school years. And so again, as this comes out, look for much more information. We'll be happy to answer questions as we go, but we're really excited about it. It sounds like almost even a shift in semantics, but it really is about shifting this idea of let's be all in, and let's be committed to what our kids are doing here at Ross County Christian.
So I just want to thank you for tuning in this evening and hearing all of this new information, some updates. But what I want to leave you with tonight is this. We are extremely excited because we are entering a new era of our CCA, and we are building on those foundations of what was here. This is our 18th year. What Mr. Grooms and Mr. McCarter put into place here with the Lord's help is phenomenal. And we know how important it is to build on those foundations, to be good stewards of what they have built here and what the Lord has done here. And so I'll just share with you as we end tonight what I shared with our staff at our spiritual development a few weeks ago. And I want to share that with you, our families. First of all, as we enter this new era, we at our CCA will stand for biblical truths. We will not back down from that. If it's biblical truth, biblical principle, we are standing on that. And we will never, ever go away from those biblical truths. We will be set apart. The world is changing very rapidly, but we will, again, hold to those biblical truths. We will be set apart in everything that we do. In every decision that we make, we will seek the Lord. We know how important it is to be in His will, and what a catastrophe it is when you're out of God's will. So in everything we do, we will seek the will of the Lord. And finally, in everything we do, we will do it with excellence. Notice I didn't say perfection. Perfection is not, there's only one perfect person, and He was here, and He'll come back someday. But we will do everything that we do with excellence for Him. So what we are asking of you, our RCCA families, again, is is a kind of a mind shift. We want you here, and we expect you to be here. We expect you to support our mission, to support our vision, and to commit fully to RCCA, because that's what we are doing. We pledge these things to you, and now we ask for you to pledge these things in return. We ask you to continue to pray for us, to pray for our staff, to pray for our students, to pray for protection, to pray for blessings, to pray for the Lord's favor, because that's what we are praying for continuously every day. We thank you for your support, and we thank you for tuning in. Have a great evening.